My husband wiped blood off his hands at dinner and said, "You're going to mark this case unsolved like the others, right, honey?" "It was self-defense again," my husband Paul said, while I stared at the missing person file on my desk that matched the description of the man whose wallet I'd found in our laundry room, and he was sitting across from me eating pasta like we were discussing the weather. He disrespected me at the hardware store, cut in line, very aggressive. You understand? I understood that 3 people had disappeared after minor interactions with Paul in the past 6 months, and I was the lead detective on all 3 cases. "Paul, that's not self-defense. That's murder." He laughed, actually laughed while twirling his spaghetti. "Murder is such a harsh word. I prefer conflict resolution. Permanent conflict resolution." He'd permanently resolved a conflict about a parking space last month, and I had to identify the body. "You can't keep doing this," I said, but he reached across the table and patted my hand. "Sure I can. My wife's the best detective in the city. She'll make sure nothing happens to me. Make sure nothing happens. Like my badge was his personal protection service. I took an oath, Paul, to uphold the law, not to cover for you." He rolled his eyes. "You also took vows, to love, honor, and protect. Remember? In sickness and health. This is just a little sickness. A little sickness that involved strangling people who annoyed him. Besides," he continued, cutting his garlic bread, "you've already been covering for me. Why stop now?" I hadn't been covering, I'd been investigating, but he was right that I'd been slow to connect the dots. "The captain's asking questions," I told him, "about why these cases aren't progressing." He shrugged. "Tell him you're stumped. Dead ends. No evidence. You're good at that." Good at that because he'd been careful, but not careful enough that his own wife couldn't figure it out. "That woman from the gym," I said, and his face lit up. "Oh yeah, she was rude. Kept taking the machine I wanted. Had to go. Had to go. Like she was trash, not a mother of 2. Her kids, Paul. She had children." He nodded enthusiastically. "Very noisy children. They're better off now. Foster care builds character." He actually believed he'd done those kids a favor by taking their mother. "You need to turn yourself in," I said, but he laughed harder. "Turn myself into who? You? You're not going to arrest your own husband. Imagine the scandal. Detective's husband is serial killer. Your career would be over." My career versus people's lives. But he thought that was a real dilemma. "I'm very careful," he assured me. "Only people who deserve it. That man yesterday was so entitled. Took up 2 parking spaces. Who does that? Someone who didn't deserve to die, but Paul had his own justice system. Think about our reputation," he said. "Our friends, our families. Do you want them knowing you married a killer? That you shared a bed with me every night while I was out there cleaning up society?" Cleaning up society. He called murdering people for petty annoyances cleaning. "You're going to get caught eventually," I warned, but he shook his head. "Not with you on the cases. You're brilliant. You'll keep misdirecting things. Plant some evidence pointing elsewhere. You've got access to everything." He wanted me to frame innocent people to protect him. "That's corrupt, Paul. I won't do it." He stood up and walked behind my chair. "You will though, because you love me, and because you're already an accessory. How many nights have you come home knowing what I did and still kissed me goodnight?" "Too many nights, but I'd been in denial until the evidence became undeniable." "The new neighbor," he said casually. "Very loud music. I'm thinking next week." He was announcing his next murder like a dinner plan. "If you touch her, I'll arrest you myself," I said, and he laughed. "No, you won't. You'll do what you always do. Pretend to investigate. File reports that go nowhere. Tell everyone there are no leads." He walked to the door, then turned back. "That homeless man who asks for money outside your precinct. He's aggressive, makes people uncomfortable. I might solve that problem too." "Solve that problem? Murder a homeless veteran who just needed help? You're insane, Paul." He smiled. "I'm protective. Of you. Of our neighborhood. Of society. Someone has to make the hard choices. Hard choices. Easy murders of defenseless people. Clean up that wallet from the laundry room," he called from the hallway. "Sloppy of me to leave evidence around. Good thing my wife's a professional. Professional who was about to become either corrupt or divorced or widowed depending on what happened next. Love you, honey," he added. "Thanks for understanding. For better or worse, remember? This is just the worst part. The worst part where he expected me to help him get away with murder because we shared a mortgage.